All right. They're getting a picture taken. All right, hurry up. Hurry up. I got things to do. Grab a pen and pop. All right, can I have your all's attention, please? During lunch, we had some more donations. Thank you, Vermont. Thank you, Virginia. We have gentlemen up here from the national staff that are coming down the aisles. If you didn't give the first time, think about it now. If you need a receipt, you can go down to finance and they will write you a receipt for your donation. We also have pledge cards, so if you want your department to pledge or you want to pledge, grab one of those, fill it out, and hand it back to these guys. They'll be hanging around. So I'm going to put this money here already. So give. We need to make sure this is a great event. Thank you all. And we'll also collect again tomorrow morning.
All right, start settling down. We're going to resume in 1 minute. 1 minute. National Executive Committee is now reconvened. At this time, the chair recognizes Lloyd Woods. Chairman.
Mr. Commander, attached to the report of the Convention Committee are Addenda A and B. I move the actions of the Convention Commission become the actions of the National Executive Committee. Very second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the National Convention Commission. We need the readings of Addendum A and Addendum B. What's that?
You want me to read them? We don't need them.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor to accept Addendums A and Addendum B. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Opposed, nay? Carried. At this time, all voting members of the NEC, you should have on your desk A copy of a letter signed by myself pertaining to the Department of Nebraska Charter Suspension Investigation. A copy of the resolution. And other supporting documentation. It's highly recommended, or actually, you need to, as a voting member, you need to digest this, read this. Be ready to act and vote on this tomorrow. So I encourage you to take the time to read through it thoroughly.
Should be only the NEC should have a copy.
Yep, the only ones that should have a copy of this are the NECs. At this time, the chair recognizes James E. Grenier, Jr. of Virginia, Chairman of the National Security Commission, for the purpose of a report.
Oh, this is cool. It's my first time. Members, American Legion Executive Committee, honored to stand here today and give you a report out on national security. Basically, two primary issues we're going to talk about, the UNCLOS and the DOD's reductions. National Security Commission met several times with ambassadors, generals, and others in our national security issue, and you can read the report. There's been a heck of a lot of activity, and they led me through this thing. First, American Legion has long advocated for the United States to ratify United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or the UNCLOS. We believe that ensuring unimpeded access to global sea lanes and protecting our maritime interests are vital to U.S. national security. Ratifying UNCLOS would strengthen our ability to assert navigational rights, secure our economic zones, and counter aggressive maritime behavior through international law. Our resolution is clear. We support ratification to enhance U.S. influence and maintain leadership in a rules-based global order. Secondly, at the same time, we are monitoring DOD's proposed reductions in manpower by 8%. It's probably going to be a little more than 8% when everything comes down to it, because what they call wedges in the budget. And if you want to talk about that, I've got some info on that too. While we support efforts to improve government efficiency and eliminate redundancies, we must do so without compromising military readiness, deterrence, or operational capability. And of recent note, the NDAA for the Space Force recently created a continuum of service, one component, one active duty component. This is massive. No guard, no reserve. Every Space Force person will be active duty. You will either be part-time or full-time. You will apply for part-time positions. Again, I'll be around if you guys, I deal with this every day, so if you have any questions or a little bit more, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. But I think the important thing in here is that you could very well see this throughout the Air Force, not just Space Force, real soon. And that's some correspondence that was going on last week. The American Legion remains deeply concerned that a shrinking force, if not carefully managed, could place undue strain on our service members, undermine recruitment and retention, and signal vulnerability in an increasingly volatile global environment. Our position is rooted in principle. We support a strong, capable, and agile military. Efficiency must not come at the expense of effectiveness. The American Legion stands ready to work with all stakeholders across government, industry, and civil society to ensure America's security remains uncompromised, its maritime rights protected, and its armed forces properly resourced for the challenges ahead. Thank you for your attention and commitment as we reshape some of our national security institutions.
Commander, motion to receive and file the report of the National Security Commission with the exception of one resolution and one addendum.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the National Security Commission with the exception of one resolution and one addendum. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 1, title, Ensuring National Security and Strategic Access Through Our U.S. Ratification of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, Origin National Security Commission. Resolved that the United States Senate urgently advance the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, treaty to a vote for ratification and consent to preserve the strength of the United States strategic and economic interests that are increasingly being exploited by other nations, including adversaries. This resolution has the support of the National Security Commission and your Subcommittee on Resolutions, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the National Security Commission with National Security's Resolution 1. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried.
Attached to the report is Addenda A. I move the actions of the National Security Commission become the actions of the National Executive Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Addendum A. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. The chair recognizes Matthew J. Schuman of Arizona, Chairman of the Legislative Commission, for the purpose of a report.
Mr. Commander, national officers, past national commanders, members of the NEC Legion family, good afternoon. I said good afternoon. Yet again, I find myself in awe by the opportunity to address this room, a room fully dedicated to all who have served. Since October, I have been fortunate to serve as your National Legislative Chairman, an honor which brings great joy to my heart. In January of this year, we welcomed a new administration and a new Congress. And since then, it has certainly been a wild time. From forced reductions to increased budgets and more national news than we can digest. But your national legislative staff and commission have manned the watch. In February, our national staff pulled off a spectacular Washington conference. And in a moment of history making, the Legislative Commission held our meeting in the House Veteran Affairs Committee room on Capitol Hill. We had the ability to shake hands with history. We felt the weight of that space. A room where the fate of veterans' health care is debated. A room where the doors to better benefits can be opened or slammed shut. That room has been the birthplace of policy that has changed the lives, and it has been the better of the battlefield where flawed legislation has been stopped, where every brick, chair, and microphone has witnessed the shaping of veterans' policy in America. It's interesting, though, because I could say all of those exact same things about the room that we find ourselves in this very moment. And after our meeting on Capitol Hill, Legionnaires from every community in America flooded the halls of Congress to urge them to help end veteran suicide, to bring a swift end to veteran homelessness, and to serve veterans of America better. And then our national commander gave a powerful testimony before Congress. And we all saw him stand firm in the face of chaos. One thing is clear. When the Legion speaks, Congress listens. That said, Congress only listens because we are a large organization, an organization that has power, that has membership. But Legion family, Congress will listen less if we do not use the power we have. I'll say that again. Congress will listen less if we do not use the power we have. So please ensure that you are engaged with our Legislative Action Center every single day. Make it part of your routine. Brush your teeth and tell Congress what to do for veterans. Make sure you're telling every Legionnaire in your state how to sign up and how to do exactly the same. The power of our American Legion comes not from this room, but from the members and posts across the globe, from our entire Legion family. In closing, I thank all of you for your continued support for our Legislative Commission. I thank you for placing your trust in me to help lead our legislative efforts on Capitol Hill. And I ask you all to ensure that your members of Congress know every single day where the American Legion stands on the positions that serve our veterans. Lastly, I want to thank our national staff, and particularly our National Legislative Director, Julia Mathis, and her entire team for keeping us relevant and engaged on Capitol Hill. In fact, I think our staff are on Capitol Hill more often than members of Congress. With that, Commander, I yield back, and I'm happy to answer any questions as my written report has been submitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file the report of the Legislative Commission. There are no resolutions and no addendums. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the Legislative Commission. There are no resolutions or addendum. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
All right, Commander.
Yes, Commander Moore.
We could go back to the report, written report on national security. The previous report, please. On the last page of the written report, under title, if we can move it instead of XX to resolution 1, and change in the next paragraph the word reject to approve for the record, please. Move it, Dan. Move it. Just move it. I can't make a motion. Move it.
Okay. Thank you, Commander. For clarification, what the Commander was stating was...
We need a motion.
No, I can't.
Commander, Dan Wiley from Kansas. I move that Commander Moran's suggestion be adopted by this body.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. Thank you, Commander Moran. Thank you. The chair recognizes David F. Wallace of Virginia, Chairman of the Media and Communications Commission, for the purpose of a report.
Thank you, Commander, national officers, members of the NEC, my friends. I know you want to get quickly into the complexities of paper, printing, postage, and advertising, and I'll get to that. But first, I want to share with you some of the ways in which your media and communications team has worked with others in the organization to advance the American Legion's top priorities. The Media and Communications and Marketing Commissions, in particular, have been operating in similar and shared orbits since the Marketing Commission was established over a decade ago. Over the last 6 months, that relationship has evolved. It now connects the James G. Elliott Company, which for over 20 years has been advertising sales arm for the American Legion magazine, website, and e-newsletters, with a marketing team. That relationship has borne much fruit significantly this year, with $144,000 in Thank You Thursday sales to date and nearly $500,000 in sales expected through the budget year. Media communications and marketing are collaborating in more ways, including surround sound awareness, building of the Legion's Be the One mission to prevent veteran suicide, media coverage and support of special events and relationships like the Army-Navy game and the Salute to Heroes inaugural ball, fulfilling external media responsibilities, and on a day-to-day basis, the staffs of media and communication and marketing are working in alliance, communicating and executing on social media, creative development, revenue enhancement, and other areas. The collaboration is one of many where media and communication is working in harmony with other areas of the organization. One example you have may noticed in the front window as you entered national headquarters today is the collaborative effort between media and communications and Americanism to celebrate the 100th anniversary of American Legion Baseball. The media plan for American Legion Baseball's centennial began well over a year in advance. It has concluded a new 88-page bookazine titled A Century of Citizenship Through Sportsmanship. It has brought to life a new video on the program's first century, along with a flurry of social media graphics we call Dugout Diamonds, and highly popular American Legion Department baseball profiles. The American Legion Baseball Centennial Media Toolkit for local use is now refreshed to include all the new elements that have been developed over the last 8 months. The Media and Communications Group has also worked closely with Americanism to bring to market a graphic novel treatment on the U.S. flag's history and the meaning behind our flag retirement ceremonies. That product, Rise of Our Flag, is being released now. Media and Communications has also worked with the Children and Youth team to publish the second edition of the Whole Child booklet. You guys will see this as well. On the Legion Support for Kids that came out in April for Children and Youth Month. The Media and Communications team also continues its collaboration with membership and post activities with the recent delivery of a new welcome toolkit and with the Legislative Commission for a special video on how Legionnaires can best work with Congress, which many of you saw at the Washington Conference. Media and Communications also meets weekly with the Office of Funds Development and works with that team to grow our planned giving program with positive results. For the magazine, website, and e-newsletters, traditional advertising is running under budget, but when you add advertising for important corporate partners like USAA and Centene, overall advertising revenue remains strong, in positive territory in all digital media, and over $4 million in total magazine ad sales so far this year. Paper and printing are stable for now, with costs running slightly under budget. Postage remains a challenge, at $25,000, $487 over budget for the year at this time, despite having printed and distributed 16 fewer magazine pages than budgeted. Another increase we do not know yet will be expected this summer. The American Legion magazine now stands as the 11th most widely circulated periodical in the nation and ranks first among male readers for having read 4 of the last 4 issues and 3 of the last 4. These are the important data points. Foremost, the Media and Communications Commission has encouraged a spirit of collaboration with all areas of the organization, and we look forward to more of that as we are all striving to reach the same goals. Get the word out in the best ways possible. This, my friends, is what our commission believes. This is a way not just for Media and Communications, but for the entire American Legion. We have just one resolution to rescind 6 resolutions that have either been accomplished or are obsolete. The commission has approved this resolution and now presents it to the NEC for consideration. Commander, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve as your Media and Communications Commission Chairman. I can tell you from having personally attended nearly every morning planning meeting of this group that the staff is working hard every day to inform, promote, educate, celebrate, and entertain through multiple media channels that reach a variety of audiences. Commander, that concludes my report.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file the report of the Media and Communications Commission with the exception of one resolution. There is no addendum.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the Media and Communications Commission with the exception of one resolution. There is no addendum. Is there any discussion? Yes, Commander Moore.
I'm on a roll this afternoon. I ate too much.
Go for it. I'll support you.
Everyone on your desk has this pamphlet. You really need to look at this. We discussed it at the National Commanders Advisory Committee on Sunday. Probably one of the best pieces of literature I've seen put out by National. And I know this morning, a lot of you raised your hand and you said you belong to the VFW. Well, if you've just seen the last issue of the VFW, they were toting $14 billion raised. Okay? Me being a little boisterous said we should put on the front cover of the national magazine, American Legion, 21 billion, VFW, 14 billion, DAV, 10 billion. Who was the largest raiser of benefits? Now you take that 21 billion, as my friend the judge over here divided it down into how many houses that could buy, as you see on TV of another group advertising how much houses they pay for veterans. $21 billion. The American Legion got in 1 year for veterans. How many houses does that buy? You go further, and our good friend past Commander Jimmy Cows, somewhere in here. How many $3 million plus in grants for Operation Comfort Warrior? Through the great chairman and the director, this lovely piece of literature you can use in any speech you give, but more importantly, will become the centerfold of your August magazine. Encourage at your post level and your department, take this out. Use it as a tool. One, the greatness that we always talk about our organization. We never toot our own horn. It's time we start tooting our horn by this piece, this brochure. Use it for a recruitment tool. It has so many pluses for us. I commend you, Commander, the adjutant, and the staff, and the volunteers, the time and energy that went into this. This is the finest piece of brochure I've seen in this organization. Use it wisely.
Thank you, Commander. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 10, title Rescinding of Media and Communication Resolutions, Origin, Media and Communication Commission. That the following resolutions be rescinded for the reasons stated herein. Without objection, with your permission, I will skip reading all those that are listed there. This has the approval of Media and Communication Commission, the Subcommittee on Resolution Recommendations. It passes, and I vote for its approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 10. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. At this time, the chair recognizes John W. J. Bowen of Colorado, Chairman of the Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission, for the purpose of a report.
Good afternoon, Commander LeCoussier, national officers, past national commanders, members of the National Executive Committee, and distinguished guests. It is an honor to serve our nation's veterans as chairman of the Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission. Commander, I appreciate the support you and the American Legion national leadership and staff have provided to the VNR Commission this past year. You have been provided a copy of my written report outlining the VA and our Commission's activities since the fall of the 2024 NEC meeting, but I'd like to share a few things outside of that report. First, I'd like to take a minute to introduce our new VA&R Director in Washington, D.C., Mr. Cole Lau. Cole started his career in D.C. a decade ago as an analyst in VA&R before going to work for a U.S. Senator, a former VA Secretary, and other veteran service organizations. But he found his way home to the American Legion, and in his short time here, VA&R has made great progress reasserting itself in the veteran policy space in Washington. You know, if any of you folks had an opportunity to sit in or watch the commander's testimony a couple of months ago in Washington, D.C., you would have seen and been introduced to Cole the proper way. He was a rock star. He fielded the overwhelming majority of the VA&R related questions that the senators and congressmen had. He finally passed one off to me that was really easy to answer. I think that's the only reason he gave it to me. But he really did. He's a tremendous asset to this organization and to VA&R. Over the past few months, VA&R policy staff members have been on the front lines, engaging with Congress. Policy analysts are meeting weekly with congressional staffers, other veteran service organizations, and industry experts. Since the beginning of the congressional session in January, our staff has also reviewed 55 different bills, in addition to providing valuable input towards 8 expert testimonials and statements for record directly to our nation's lawmakers. From April 2024 to March 2025, 652 service officers completed our service officer training program. Additionally, last fall, the American Legion was successful in hosting our inaugural DSO symposium for over 50 American Legion and 1 VFW service officers. Here, service officers attended a 5-day symposium to discuss real-life scenarios incorporating complex claims such as navigating and filing under the new PACT Act criteria, or strategies for choosing the most optimal Appeals Modernization Act option. Attendees were able to observe a live U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims appellate panel oral argument. Service officers were able to gain valuable in-person networking opportunities, foster deeper peer support relationships, and take back ideas to streamline their own processes at their home state departments to make their claims processes even more successful. For the fiscal year 2024, American Legion accredited service officers accounted for more than $21 billion, as shared with us by PNC Morin, in claims assistance for veterans, breaking the previous record of $19 billion. We continue to focus on reinforcing and strengthening our service officer network. Finally, I have a few reminders for all of us. This year's Department Service Officer Symposium is coming up in October. Nomination instructions have already been sent to department adjutants, service officers, and NEC members. The nomination form must be returned through the department adjutant. Additionally, I want to encourage departments to consider submitting an award nominations for the VA Physician of the Year, VA Healthcare Provider of the Year, and the William F. Linker National Service Trophy. VA&R staff will send out an email to department commanders, adjutants, and NEC members in June with instructions on how to apply. Distinguished members of the NEC, I ask that you take this back home and share it with your members. All our commissions, committees, and divisions work tirelessly, often behind the scenes, in support of veterans, rarely receiving the recognition they have earned. Our committed volunteers and staff are ever present and available to ensure our nation's veterans are getting all the benefits they have earned through their time in service. Commander, I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege to recognize and say thank you to our amazing VA&R staff. They work tirelessly in support of our veterans and their family. I'm especially thankful for this division's director, Cole Lau, for his leadership and counsel. I feel privileged to work alongside this very professional staff. Commander, thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Subject to questions, this concludes my report.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file the report of Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission with the exception of 2 resolutions and 1 addendum. Second.
been moved and seconded to receive and file report of Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission with the exception of 2 resolutions and 1 addendum. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 8, title, PGA Hope, Helping Our Patriots Everywhere Program. Origin, Register Resolution number 2858, California, 2024 Department Convention. Resolved that the American Legion encourages its members to actively promote and participate in local PGA Hope events and similar events aimed at this national need by volunteering their time and resources to support the program and its participants. Commander, this resolution has the approval of your Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission and your Subcommittee on Resolutions, and I so move for its adoption.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 8. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 9, title, Department of Veterans Affairs Benefits Eligibility for Veterans Affected by the Terrorist Attacks of September 11, 2001. Origin, Resolution number 6, Wisconsin, 2024 National Convention. Resolved, that the American Legion urges the Secretaries of the Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, and Department of Defense and the U.S. Congress to review all relevant research, records, and documentation to confirm hazardous exposures and deem eligible for VA health care and benefits September 11, 2001, military responders who participated in rescue, recover, security, and other on-site support operations at the Pentagon, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and Ground Zero for related illness and injuries. And be it further resolved that the American Legion vigorously advocate for legislative and administrative actions to recognize illnesses related to the domestic military response to the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001 as presumptive service-connected conditions, including formal recognition of such domestic response activities as toxic exposure risk activities. And be it finally resolved that the American Legion will collaborate with other veteran service organizations, providers, and stakeholders to support this initiative and ensure our veterans have access to the health care and benefits that they have earned through their service. Commander, this resolution has the approval of your Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation Commission and your Subcommittee on Resolutions, and I so move for its adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 9. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Commander, attached to the report is Addendum A. I move the actions of the VA and our commission become the actions of the National Executive Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Addendum A. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Commander, I'm NEC for the Department of District.
Can you use the microphone, please?
Yep. Commander, I'm the NEC for the Department of District of Columbia, and I think that this is also a wonderful tool that can be used for future recovery, retention, and recruitment. May I legally make copies of this and give it to all my recruiters, which means every one of my Legionnaires?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Commander. Also, I recruited that member right there.
Good job. Thank you. At this time, the chair recognizes Jeremy Ehart of Kansas, Vice Chairman of the Be the One Mental Wellness Committee, for the purpose of a report.
Good afternoon, Commander, national officers, NEC, and distinguished guests. It's an honor to continue to serve our nation's veterans as Vice Chairman of the Be the One Mental Wellness Committee. Commander, Chairman Bowen, I appreciate the support that you and the American Legion National leadership and staff have provided the committee this past year. The Be the One initiative is actively working to reduce the stigma associated with mental health treatment and encourages everybody to be ready to save a life. This includes arming yourself with the knowledge to identify the warning signs and factors of suicide. To that end, the American Legion has partnered with Columbia University to develop suicide prevention training offerings. As of April 22nd, 2025, 19,000 individuals have been trained in the Columbia Protocol, or question, persuade, and refer, or QPR. The VA&R division held numerous meetings with the American Legion's Be the One manager. In this role, the manager answered an estimated 750 calls that needed support, 300 of which were after normal working hours. Of those, 13 needed immediate referral to the crisis hotline. Further, we have continued to engage with our committee speakers from the 2025 Washington Conference. Those were Boulder Crest Foundation, Combined Arms, and the VA Office of Suicide Prevention. These organizations will be key partners in the Be the One's effort to reduce veteran suicide. Finally, the committee is working on potential memorandums of understanding with Stop Soldier Suicide and America's Warrior Partnership to expand training and case coordination for veterans who need crisis intervention and further support on upstream issues before they reach a crisis point. Commander, our committed volunteers and staff are ever present and available to ensure our nation's veterans are getting the assistance they need to help reduce the stigma of asking for help and reduce the overall suicide rate. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. This concludes my report.
Thank you.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file a report on the Be the One Mental Wellness Committee. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the Be the One Mental Wellness Committee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. Next, the chair recognizes Matthew D. Jabot of Maine, Chairman of the Veterans Employment and Education Commission, for his report.
Good afternoon, Commander LaCourcier, national officers, past national commanders, members of the National Executive Committee, and distinguished guests. It is an honor to continue our serve our nation's veterans as the chairman of the Veterans Employment and Education Commission. Commander, I truly appreciate the support that you and the American Legion National leadership and staff have provided to the VE&E division this past year. You have a copy of my written report of the VE and Commission activities since fall of the 2024 NEC meeting, but I would like to share a few things outside that report. Since the fall NEC meetings, the VE&E policy staff have been working diligently with Congress to advocate for the needs of our nation's veterans. In partnership with their legislative counterparts, the policy staff has significantly improved their effectiveness, earning greater trust and respect to become more involved in the legislative process than in the previous years. We have challenged ourselves and continue to restore the respect and influence the American Legion rightfully deserves as the largest veterans service organization. Since the start of the 119th Congress, VE&E staff have reviewed 45 bills while collaborating on 4 statements for the record and providing expert testimony. There's been an intentional effort to foster relationships on Capitol Hill with congressional staffers, our counterparts in veteran service organizations, third-party organizations who advocate within the veteran space, federal executive departments, and key staff involved in the passage of critical legislation. Additionally, the staff has spearheaded outreach efforts to ensure the American Legion always has a seat at the table to advocate for veterans through conversations surrounding key initiatives, such as the federal reduction in force of employees, oversight of various programs, and ensuring veteran-owned and service-disabled-owned veteran-owned businesses are taken care of by the Small Business Administration, the Department of Labor, and the Office of Personnel Management. Finally, I have a few reminders for you all. The National Veterans Employment and Education Commission's award program will be adopting a new and improved processing system. The application and submission process for all awards will be online. Detailed information on how to submit the awards will be sent to department commanders and department adjutants in August following our national convention. The submission process will be available in December. Additionally, I want to encourage all departments to consider submitting award nominations for these programs. These are great awards to give to employers and companies in your local area that support our local veterans, and a great way to establish relationships for potentially future donors and supporters of your department and your programs. Thank you for providing me with the opportunity to serve the American Legion in this capacity, and this concludes my report.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file a report of the Veterans Employment and Education Commission.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file a report of the Veterans Employment and Education Commission with the exception of one resolution. There is no addendum. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2, title, Increase the grant amounts authorized in the Specially Adaptive Housing Program, Origin. Resolution number 21, Minnesota 2024 National Convention. Resolved that the American Legion strongly supports and advocates for an increase in the grant rates for the Specially Adapted Housing, SAH, and Special Housing Adaptation, SHA, programs to adequately address the needs of veterans and severe service-connected disabilities. And be it further resolved that the American Legion urges Congress, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and relevant policymakers to review and adjust the SAH and SHA grant rates in a manner that reflects the increasing costs of home modifications and the critical importance of these grants in supporting veterans' independence and the quality of life. And be it further resolved that this resolution be communicated to all relevant parties, including the members of Congress, Department of Veterans Affairs, and veterans advocacy groups to mobilize support for the necessary legislative and administrative changes to increase SAH and SHA grant rates for the benefit of our nation's veterans. And be it finally resolved that the National Executive Committee Resolution number 12, October 2023, titled Increase the Grant Amounts Authorized in a Specially Adaptive Housing Program, is hereby superseded and rescinded. This resolution has the support of Veterans Employee and Education Commission. Subcommittee on Resolutions recommends its approval, and I recommend you vote for its approval.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried. At this time, the chair recognizes Americanism Commission Chairman Mark A. Avis of Massachusetts for the purpose of a report.
Thank you, Commander. Commanders and members of the National Executive Committee, I am privileged to stand before you today and report on the actions of your Americanism Commission. Your Americanism Commission is strong, and we are moving full steam ahead. Copies of my detailed written report have been distributed for your review, so I'll only brief you on some of the highlights of our meetings. It was a record-breaking year again for the Legacy Scholarship. There were 724 Legacy Scholarships applications received and as complete. Of those, 559 demonstrated a financial need to be considered by this body for scholarship. It is my honor to tell you that every child that demonstrated a need will receive funds to address that need. 15 children of the following were awarded, and 544 children of post-9/11 service-connected disabled veterans were awarded. The total dollar amount of scholarships awarded was $1,779,460. The Americanism Commission approved the Committee of Youth Education's recommendation that Colonel Jeffrey Gaylord of Tennessee receive the 2025 American Legion Education Award. For scouting, Oliver Burke of Texas was selected the 2025 American Legion Eagle Scout of the Year and will receive a $10,000 scholarship. Those incredible Americans, along with our other youth program champions, will be invited to our national convention to speak on the convention stage and represent the success of our Americanism youth programs. 2025 is significant for many reasons. 250 years ago, the United States Army, Navy, and Marines were born to protect and defend this homeland. It was also the year of the famous ride of Paul Revere, who warned of the British coming. Our first commander-in-chief, General George Washington, took command of a 17,000-man army in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The Revolutionary War began. Next year, American Legion needs to commit to leading civil society in the grand celebration of the 250 years of American independence. All of us in this room committed our best years to this great nation, and we need to double down on celebrating America. I ask that you consider working for your state American 250 Commission to make sure the American Legion has a large presence in every community celebration of American independence in 2026. Lastly, our American Legion baseball program is celebrating its 100th year of existence. Our programs deliver leaders to this country, and baseball has been doing it for a century. I ask the members of this NEC to honor and celebrate the incredible milestone with me and consider growing and promoting the baseball program. As your Americanism Commission Chairman, I personally want to thank everyone in this room and the departments for their generous support for the 100th anniversary tournament planned for Millbank, South Dakota, July 11 through 13, 2025 in Millbank, South Dakota. To honor American Legion Baseball, our friends in the media and communications have developed an incredible video that I would like to show you today. Please watch.
American Legion Baseball enjoys a reputation as one of the most successful and tradition-rich amateur athletic leagues. Today, the program registered teams in all 50 states plus Canada, and each year, young people ages 13 to 19 participate. When the Legion program started in 1925 in Millbank, South Dakota, Major League Baseball has been very supportive of the national program. For decades, we were the only program that they took to the Major League World Series. They still do that to this day. Yogi Berra played American Legion Baseball in St. Louis, Missouri, on the team that reached the regionals in Hastings, Nebraska. Following high school, Berra joined the U.S. Navy in 1943 during World War II and served as gunner's mate on the USS Bayfield during the D-Day invasion of France. No man epitomizes the values of American Legion Baseball more than Bob Feller. Feller played American Legion Baseball through 1934 and reached the major leagues as a 17-year-old before even graduating high school. 2 days after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Feller enlisted in the U.S. Navy. With this selfless act, he became Major League Baseball's first player to enlist in World War II, and in the process gave up nearly 4 seasons of baseball in the prime of his career. In 1962, Bob Feller became the first American Legion baseball player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame and famously said, quote, "I may have been the first Legion baseball graduate in the Hall of Fame, but I won't be the last." Babe Ruth was too old to join when Legion Baseball started, but he traveled the country, sharing the values of American Legion Baseball, from the American Legion All-Star Game in Philadelphia to the American Legion World Series in Los Angeles. Ted Williams once said, "All I want out of life is that when I walk down the street, folks will say, 'There goes the greatest hitter that ever lived.'" The 1960 American Legion Graduate of the Year accomplished that goal. The only Hall of Famer to serve during 2 wars, Williams sacrificed 5 years of his prime to serve the nation as a Navy and Marine fighter pilot. In 1928, 13-year-old Margaret Gisolo joined the Blandford Cubs, an American Legion team in Indiana. Nicknamed the Girl Babe Ruth, Gisolo's eligibility was questioned after her prowess angered a rival team. The Cubs, thanks in part to Gisolo's outstanding play, won the Indiana State Tournament and advanced to regionals. Gisolo joined the Navy Waves during World War II. If you take a young man who comes from say, an impoverished background, give him a sense of belonging and a goal, you change their lives by doing that. How American Legion Baseball has lasted 100 years is what it offers to the young men that have participated in the program. The values I think that we instill in young men are a sense of community, teamwork, sportsmanship, and if you go back to the alumni who've come through the program and look at what they've contributed to the community and nation, those are the things we stand for. I think the American Legion program is different, not only because we're sponsored by a veterans organization, but we emphasize the individual skill, the team skills, like hit the cutoff man, bunt, hit and run, those type of things, whereas other programs focus more on the individual. How far can you throw it? How fast can you run? Those things are all important, but I think what the American Legion does is bring them together to form a team to reach a goal. I've always been of the impression that if you're good, the colleges and whatnot will find you. If you're good, the talent will rise to the top. If you go to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, you see statues of Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, and look at all the enshrinees who were Legion players. And 100 years, that's a long time. But we've survived and we're still going strong. To hold this position as we go into the centennial, I feel honored, proud to do it. I'm an old guy, I've been around a while, but I'm just honored to be here and be part of recognizing an organization that's lasted this long and contributed to the fabric of our country by providing quality young people to go forth and lead the country. I'd like to see it continue and also like to see it grow. At some point down the road, when parents stop and look at what they get out of amateur sports, and they want to look at our program, if it's lasted that long, we must be doing something right. I will keep the rules, keep faith with my teammates, keep my temper, keep myself fit, keep a stout-hearted defeat, keep my pride under in victory, keep a sound soul, a clean mind, and a healthy body.
Speaking for American Legion Junior Baseball as a whole, I can say without reservation that every boy in the United States who hopes to be a professional ball player should take advantage of this fine program.
I know I speak for all of baseball when I say that we are very grateful for the splendid job that the neighborhood coaches are doing for boys baseball. You know, fundamentally, there's no finer way for a young fellow to spend his time in the summer months than by competing in the Legion's baseball program. It's a great thing for the major leagues, but it's a greater thing for the boys.
These boys get the best of coaching and equipment, and besides learning a lot of baseball, are becoming better American citizens. While playing American Legion baseball, I learned about the value of team play, sportsmanship, and met a lot of fine fellows in the process. Besides that, I learned a lot of baseball through the organized competition at the program before. I think that every boy in America should play American Legion Junior Baseball if it is at all possible for him to do so. American Legion Junior Baseball is just about the finest sandlot baseball organization in the world.
Play ball.
I encourage you all to go down and visit your Americanism Division staff. They stand ready to work for you and do anything that they can do to help you progress 100% Americanism. And I further invite you to go down and introduce yourselves to our new hire, Johnny Holmes, who Director Neff has just hired to assist in the Americanism Division. With that said, Mr. Commander and members of the NEC, unless there are any questions, that concludes my report. Americanism.
It's been moved and seconded to file the report of the Americanism Commission with the exception of one addendum. There are no resolutions. Is there any discussion? Yes, Mr. Comer.
We'll take that under consideration at our next time we meet, Commander.
Keep it down. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Commander, attached to the report is Addendum B. I move the actions of the Americanism Commission become the actions of the National Executive Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Addendum B. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Thank you, Commander.
This time the chair recognizes Internal Affairs Commission Chairman Robert E. Newman of Indiana for the purpose of a report.
Commander, thank you for the opportunity to serve as your chairman. Members of the National Executive Committee, fellow Legionnaires, ladies and gentlemen, you have my report of our actions and deliberations before you. The Commission reviewed 8 resolutions, and our recommended action on each is in our report, except for the Distinguished Service Medal, which will be acted upon in executive session this afternoon. As we have heard reports from the different commissions during this meeting, we have a lot of great programs and initiatives that the American Legion is involved in. Because of this, it is vital that we provide opportunities to educate our members on these areas of focus. Last fall, we conducted the first National Regional Information Conference in Denver, Colorado. That one was followed by the second one in Boston, Massachusetts. These were very successful training and networking events. Both had just under 70 attendees. Tentatively, the next 2 regional conferences are being scheduled. Once the dates and locations have been finalized, we will communicate that information to everyone. We need leaders at all levels to encourage members to attend and help spread the word. The ultimate goal of these regional training conferences is to educate and create an environment where the needs of our organizations are met and the members understand our legacy and prepare them for the future. Don't forget there are other training opportunities members can attend. Training Tuesday is held the last Tuesday of each month during the National Convention. we will have the subject matter expert training sessions on Saturday and Monday in the Expo Hall. Again, encourage members to take advantage of these training opportunities. I would also like to highlight a few of our great programs within our report. First off, the NEF program helped 95 individuals and 14 posts in 2024 for a grand total of $313,697.98. We have approved 34 grants for individual and posts this year, and we are well positioned to provide our members and posts with immediate assistance in the event of a natural disaster occurs. We all know that the American Legion Riders do for developing awareness, and their hard work does not go unnoticed, and they are finalizing plans for the upcoming Legacy Run as they ride for Veterans and Children's Foundation. Registration will be open on May 15th, and the route will be announced then. I would also draw your attention to the great work of the Sons of the American Legion have accomplished. I commend every department for their supporting of this program. This past weekend, the Sons collected more than $74,344 in donations during their NEC meetings. Finally, Operation Comfort Warriors program has granted 5 grants for $70,500 in 2025. This program highlights the great work the American Legion does on a regular basis. Commander, I submit my report and our resolutions for the action of the National Executive Committee with my deepest respect and appreciation for the support and encouragement we enjoy from this body.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file a report of Internal Affairs Commission with the exception of 4 resolutions and 2 addenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the Internal Affairs Commission with the exception of 4 resolutions and 2 addendums. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 4. Title, Assistance Conducting Department History Contest and Post-History Showcase. Origin, Internal Affairs Commission. Resolved that the National Historian is authorized to enlist the support of any past National Historian or current Department Historian when conducting the Department History Contest and Post-History Showcase at no expense to the national organization, and be it finally resolved that the National Executive Committee Resolution Number 27, October 1989, titled Per Diem for Department Historian for Annual Conference and Workshop, and National Executive Committee Resolution Number 5, October 2017, National History Contest Per Diem, are hereby superseded and rescinded. Commander, this resolution has the approval of your Internal Affairs Commission and your Subcommittee on Resolution, and I so move for its adoption.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 4. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 5, title, Celebration of the 250th Anniversary of the United States. Origin, Internal Affairs Commission. Resolved that the American Legion is hereby authorized to work with the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission, the Congressional Caucus, the Advisory Councils, and individual staff to enhance the celebration of America 250, and be it further resolved that departments are encouraged to actively participate in their state 250 commissions to enhance state and local efforts to celebrate America 250. And be it finally resolved that the American Legion, comprised of members whose selfless service to this great nation and its founding principles are criteria for membership, be historically referenced as a civil society leader which ensured that 250 years of a constitutional republic was justly and successfully celebrated. Commander, this resolution has the approval of your Internal Affairs Commission and the Subcommittee on Resolutions, and I so move for its adoption.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 5. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Number 6, title, 250th Anniversaries of the U.S. Army, Marine Corps, and Navy. Origin, Internal Affairs Commission. Resolved that the American Legion, at every level of the organization, actively participate and promote semi-quincentennial observances of the U.S. Army, Marine Corps, and Navy, working closely with military installations, schools, government offices, churches, the media, and others to build awareness, sharing personal accounts of service, displaying historical artifacts and other items of interest, and encouraging veterans to submit their stories on why they joined these branches of service on the nationallegiontown.org web platform. Commander, this resolution has the approval of your Internal Affairs Commission, Subcommittee on Resolution, and I so move for its adoption.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 6. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by... Settle down. Thanks, Commander. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Resolution number 7. Title, Rescinding of Internal Affairs Resolutions. Origin, Internal Affairs Commission. Resolved that the following resolutions are rescinded for the reasons indicated below. With your approval, I will not read them all as they go down. As obsolete, superseded, accomplished. Mr. Commander, this resolution has the approval of your Internal Affairs Commission, your Subcommittee on Resolution, and I so move for its adoption.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 7. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried.
Commander, attached to the report are addenda A and B. I move the actions of the Internal Affairs Commission become the actions of the National Executive Committee.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt addendums A and B. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. The chair again recognizes Mike Cook of Wyoming, Chairman of the Membership and Post Activities Committee, for the purpose of a report.
Good afternoon. National Commander LaCourcier, members of the National Executive Committee, past national commanders, guests, and friends. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this afternoon. I take great pride in addressing a subject matter so near and dear to us all, its membership. You have a copy of my written report, which highlights several key areas of the 2025 membership campaign. The 2025 membership campaign brought about some changes, some that we are familiar with, and others that happened not very often. First, we saw a dues increase implementation. Second, we continue to average close to 200 posts closing. And that's not increasing very often. Traditional renewals continue to be on the decline. Really, not a recipe for growth and a trend I am sure none of us in this room wants. We are 57,346 members behind this same time last year. We have to move membership to the forefront of all of our efforts and to help every eligible veteran understand that in order for us, the American Legion, to be able to assist current and future veterans, we want them to join us. We must continue to make retention and recruitment a priority in any membership plan. We can't wait for membership to just come in through the doors. We cannot solely rely on renewal notices to encourage our members. Retention of current members will only get us so far. That is why Commander LaCourciere set a goal to recruit 75,000 new members. To date, we have recruited just shy of 60,000, 59,909. As we bring them in, we need to encourage and educate these new members on the great things the American Legion is doing for veterans, their families, and the communities. Now, we are all aware of the 21st Century Ad Hoc Committee report from 2019. I cannot stress enough how important it is for us to work towards the recommendations within it and pass it down to the post level and members. That report was developed to assist our leaders at all levels in developing, implementing strategies to improve recruiting, engagement of new members, and training. So I encourage you to go back home and continue to work within your respective departments, districts, and posts to get the word out. We cannot lose focus on our mission, and we have to understand the wants, needs, and desires of our membership base. We must engage our members through effective and timely communication, but leadership at all levels must be committed and dedicated to training to ensure this is accomplished properly. Ultimately, we must strive for every post to be a pillar in the respective community. The implementation of the multi-year renewal option has made working with renewals just a little easier for several years out. I am happy to report that we have had 49,813 members take advantage of this option. This equates to 5,249 new members to the American Legion. Of that number, 44,564 have chosen to renew into that option. Conducting buddy checks on our members is more important than ever as well. We need to thank them for being a member and show them the value of being a member of this great organization. We must engage them with the great things the American Legion is doing. It is imperative to share the monthly membership impact report with members. Share that with the communities to show the American Legion is an asset in the community. And it was brought up earlier to show that. Whatever it is, we have to rally our members around it. Like we have done with the Be the One campaign, publicize it to the community, show them how great we are, and make them want to become a member. And don't forget, ask them to join and ask them to renew. Commander LaCourciere, thank you for allowing me this time to address the NEC. This concludes my briefing.
Mr. Commander, motion to receive and file the report of the Membership Post Activities Committee.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the report of the Membership Post Activities Committee. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. The chair now recognizes National Adjutant Rodney K. Rowland of Georgia for announcements.
The reception begins at 5:30 p.m. in the Sheraton Center Circle Suite lower level. Dinner will be in the Meridian Ballroom at 6:30 p.m. Thank you, Commander.
At this time, I would entertain a motion for the NEC to go into executive session.
Commander, I move the National Executive Committee go into executive session. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the National Executive Committee go into executive session. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay. Motion's carried.